So the question I get asked a lot is, have you always been a creative? And the answer is no. My creative journey has had a lot of twists and turns that have led me to where I'm at today. And today, I felt that it was only right that I tell that story. So over the last couple of weeks, I've interviewed some of the people who have played a major role in my creative journey to get their perspective on our time together.
You don't know what you want to do. You know what I mean?
2008, I had just dropped out of college and I was working at a call center. And by the way, I was hating life at this moment. But the one thing that I enjoyed was opening up my computer and going to some of my favorite blog sites and really just seeing what was happening with the underground music scene. Yeah, I used to be a huge music head. I liked the mainstream music of that era a lot, but I was more so gravitated to what some of the artists such as a Wale, a Kid Cudi, a Currency, a Wiz Khalifa was actually doing on the blogs. I wanted to be a part of it. So I started a blog.
Go! Beach boys get money, yeah, that's all we know is work. Late nights, early mornings.
So I knew nothing about the local music scene. But what I did know is that there were a lot of artists around me who didn't have a platform to showcase their talents. Doing this for a couple of months led me to meeting and working with my guy G, otherwise known as the Mic Fiend.
My perception was, who is this dark-skinned, bald-head, nerdy-looking dude? It was easy for me to bow out as far as the marketing because everything that you was coming with was on point, and it was exactly what we needed to have. Once we got to moving and grooving, my thoughts was just like, this dude is good. This dude is like really, he's on point. He know what he's doing.
So of course I had to interview my guy.
It's Thad Williams. Man, you came in with fresh ideas. G was very methodical. Like, I was just focusing on music. So G, on the business side of things, he kind of handled most of that. And when you came in with fresh ideas from how to drop music in terms of the frequency in which we should drop. I remember you telling me like, hey man, you should put out a mixtape like every month. And I was like, and to me, that was crazy. I was like, man, what? The ideas that you came to the table with immediately. So when you came on board with Mic Fiend, I was like, man, it was like another piece, like Voltron coming together.
I wanted to try my hand to see if I could market other artists as well. So I partnered with my guy KG and we started our first business, Revo Media.
Man, it was an interesting time because I'm not even, it's crazy, my memory is just trash, but I remember us just coming together and knowing each other through mutual friends. And then I'm not necessarily sure about how it formulated, but it was, us just putting effort towards a common goal in general. One of my friends, I reached out to him to do the logo, and he was going to Hampton University. He was a designer at Black Label at the time, which was like all over, and he killed it, and he provided us with a great logo. We ran with that, and I think eventually we shortened the name, but still kind of used variations of it a little bit. And we had some good successes we expanded to having an intern. I think we had a part-time salesperson, my guy Ike, that would just focus on new acquisitions as far as clients. I think we kind of shared a little bit of responsibility, but you may have been more so on to like business at that time. As far as operations, I was doing a little bit more creative. Yeah, that's kind of like how we got down, and we were running for, and I think we had 6 clients at probably like our max.
First impression, more than anything, just that you were a genuine cat, man. I think our story is a little unique in the fact that I was a kid. I was 20, 21 years old, fresh out of college, trying to pursue my music. And really, just looking for anybody to believe in me. And it's rare, just coming out of college, especially trying to do music, that you find people that naturally believe in you. And I think the first thing you said to me, you know, after my first show that you were filming for me was like, hey man, I rock with your stuff. And you know how your personality is, you know, sometimes like, is he trying to gas me? Is he joking? Is it real? But it was genuine, man. I think that goes such a long ways. I like to think that I'm a good judgment of character. And it holds true, man. I think, you know, just that genuineness coming from you. You didn't sugarcoat anything. And from our relationship since day one, you keep it 100.
And we had some great times during this era, because for the first time, we were actually creating content for artists as well as businesses. And this was a time I started to learn how to shoot. But after a couple of years, we decided to go our own way.
Well, first of all, it was dope working with you, bro, because honestly, like having somebody that could like mirror your drive. And I don't know if it was us not necessarily knowing what we were doing, because hindsight really is like part of it, right? Because it's like when you don't know what you're doing and you're putting effort into something and you're just going forward, it's like you don't know your limitations, or you don't necessarily know what you can and can't do. So you're just pushing the boundaries, right?
And even though I was actually trash at the time, I wanted to go all in on being a videographer as well as being a marketer for businesses. And so around this time is actually when I started my company, my agency that wasn't an agency at the time, the Rebel Society.
In 2013, I bought your LLC so that you would not go to jail. I just wanted you to have a functional business, you know, that was legit and not just out here saying that you have a business and you don't have an LLC or tax ID or business license or any of those things. So just to make sure that the foundation of your business was intact.
During this time, I still never considered myself to be a creator. I told myself for years that I was a marketer that just happened to be pretty decent with the camera. And around that time, like I said, I was still trash with a camera. That was my identity. But during this time, I did all of the things that a young creative, let's scratch that, a young person with a camera would do. I shot parties, I did photo shoots, I shot music videos, and I even shot a funeral. That was crazy. I did whatever I could do to make a couple dollars. And in June of 2016, I decided to quit my job and go full-time with the Rebel Society. And that is when everything in my life changed.
I felt like you were very busy, but you weren't bringing in any money.
I think you didn't know what you wanted to do. Like, it came across as like, okay, like, I don't know if you really want to do video, or do you want to do more social media? Do you want to do more marketing? And I know you want to do a little bit of it all. And knowing you years later, it's like, okay, now it's in that, like, you want to do it all because you are genuinely motivated to be knowledgeable in all of these things. Back then it felt like, you don't know what you want to do. You know what I mean?
Even though I felt like I was serious about the work that I was doing before, this season of my life tested everything there is about me. I needed money to survive and support my family, and I really had to start grinding. And so I didn't have a business coach, so I pretty much learned everything that I could, like, on the spot. Or from my unofficial business coach, Gary Vee.
Good hustle. I'm obsessed with hustle, right? But see, what I find interesting is, even though I just gave it a really passionate talk, you went for the 19-year-old dude move, right? Man,
it's crazy because at this time I was super into Gary Vee. Like, I would watch his videos all day if I could. At the time, he just felt so inspirational. And I wanted to be a marketer who was good with content. And I also wanted to build a personal brand very similar to Gary Vee. A lot of stuff that I said felt like Gary Vee said it. A lot of the ideas I came up with were very similar to what Gary Vee would say. So instead of only being behind the camera, I decided to hop in front of the camera. So while I did everything possible for clients, like I was still doing photos, I started to do marketing, I started to do branding, I started to do social media management, I started to create websites. I also started to hop in front of the camera a little bit more doing vlogs. What's going on, people? This is Shire Harris of the Rep Society, and this is The Process. Doing my own promo videos, my own behind-the-scenes content. A lot of people are faking confidence, man. I'm definitely one of those people. Podcast.
You 5'2" and 240?
5'2",
But I'm just saying, like, I done.
Speaking engagements.
Right. So if you're shooting a lot of stuff throughout the course of your day, then you have, when you, like I said, when you come home, you have a lot of stuff to kind of figure out. It's really all about telling the story of what you want to tell.
And whatever else I could do to help spread my message. And right when I started to gain some momentum, the world shut down.
People have now lost their lives to complications from COVID-19.
You know, this is the 10th hospital that I have been.
And even though I was scared along with everybody else, COVID was a great time for me artistically.
I really believe that doing projects like that alone in COVID times, and yes, we had some, like, you know, some risky type things, you know, everybody running around with masks, and then once we go do some shooting, we tell them pull it down, get the shot done, put it back on your face. I know we had to be real cautious, but we ain't let no troubled times stop us.
The government assistance that I got allowed me for once to really focus on being a creative. This was the time where some of my best and most fun projects happened. And really, I was just free to come up with the idea, create it that same day. Outside of the obvious, it was just a great time for me as a creator.
When I first heard about Rashad, I actually heard a lot about him from a lot of the work that he was posting. So me and him have a lot of mutual friends, so they would show me his work, and they kind of mentioned him as more of a marketing guy than actually a creator. And they said that, you know, here's a guy that does a lot of work. I felt like his work was good, but I just was noticing the consistency and the variety of work. So.
And then after that, my business started to take off. I had mastered my business. I stopped doing the work that I didn't want to do. And I also started to create projects that I love for myself as well as the clients that I work with. This was a time in my life when I felt like I was posting content every single day. And I even randomly came across a tagline that, in retrospect, might be the most important idea that I ever came up with. Rashad, I'm 39, and I'm building a multi-million-dollar content agency. I can't lie, it felt like at this time I was on top of the world. I wasn't famous or anything, but I felt very hood famous, very popular. I felt very popular. I felt like I was seen for probably the first time in my professional career. My marriage was good. We had our first child. Everything was great. And then it wasn't. So it was weird. I was at Cracker Barrel with my daughter and my stepmom. And then while talking about, you know, what was going on in life, I just started to cry. And this is probably the first time this has ever happened to me. To provide some context, both sides of my family were actually going through something at the time. And I really guess that just years of bottling stuff in, people pleasing, and just stress started to boil over. The same day I had to shoot a wedding, and the whole time while shooting that wedding, I felt like I was about to have a stroke. Like, my heart felt funny. It was even a struggle holding up my camera. Like, I really didn't know what was wrong with me, but I knew that there was something that was going on.
Now, I didn't see anything out of that situation as far as you going through that. I just knew that you asked of me a little bit more on that particular one. But I just thought I would just, you know, you just had the bubbles or something like that. You know what I mean? So
I had to make a change.
I think I saw the buildup of it, but I think a lot of men have similar things that happen. Unfortunately, some of those men don't survive it, right? You hold things in internally. You're also an over processor. So while you're also holding everything in, you're also internalizing, and these thoughts and these ideas and these feelings have nowhere to go. And so you just continue to work through things, and you continue to press through, and then one day your body says, it's time. I did what I was supposed to do. You know, be your wife and go into, all right, it's time, let's find a therapist. Let's, you know, find the support you need, whatever outlet you need to help yourself get that outlet.
So I went to therapy to start to unpack some of the things that I've been dealing with. And the things that I felt like kept coming up was people pleasing, which I felt like I've been a people pleaser my whole life, to not being attached to anything or anyone, loneliness, and just the stress of being a business owner, but also just being a man in general. So I had to make a change. I decided that I needed to kind of take a break from doing all of the things that I was doing. And so I never thought I would go back to having a job, but I can't lie. That place, the people there saved me. It instantly removed a lot of the stress that I had. It allowed me to stop chasing things that I just didn't want to do anymore. It allowed me to stop showing up on social media when I didn't want to show up. And it just allowed me to just take some time to myself, which I desperately needed. I didn't want to feel like I had to create something to meet a quota or because people expected me to. I just wanted to create something because I wanted to. And that's what I did. I got more raw. I got more vulnerable. And I really just became a more open person. For years, I didn't connect with my work. And now my work was a part of who I am. And so that brings us to the me that you see in front of you now. And that me is a me that isn't about the money anymore. And I know. I need money to live. My family needs money to live. I need money to support and finance the things that me and my family want to do. But for me now, it's about telling meaningful stories, helping the next generation of young creators, young Black creators that's coming up behind me, as well as just really just leaving an impact and creating a true legacy. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for tapping into my creative journey that I've had thus far. And thank you for just supporting me. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for being you. And just thank you for seeing me. So I'm Rashad. I'm 39. And I'm building a multi-million-dollar content agency. And Zion, Daddy loves you.